Hello and welcome to Wennell's Guide to doing Blackrock Caverns for Oak as a hunter. So for this boss, he's got a couple abilities. Basically, he'll summon adds in the first phase, and when he does that, there will be like a rumbly stuff, earthquake thing below you, so just get out of that. And then MD the adds onto the tank and do your best to get him down before he does the Chain of Woe. As you can see here, the tank did a bad pull, and we ended up actually with more ads from the back. Just kill those if that happens, or do your best to try and kill them if that happens. So there he summons the ads. Uh, Here's the Chain of Woe. Basically, what happens here is you kill the Chain of Woe as fast as you can when he summons you in next to him. From there, you run out to probably like 20 yards and do that as fast as you can because otherwise he will pretty much one-shot you. He'll do like an AoE thing and just one-shot anyone near him. So you can see he does Chain of Woe again. So I just kill the Chain of Woe as fast as I can, get out of his AoE range as fast as I can. He does his AoE, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Just kill ads, and then when he summons you in close to him, kill the Chain of Woe. So that's the first boss. For this second boss, basically what you want to do as a hunter is you want to get either the left or right ad. There will be a beam going to all three ads. And so what you want to do is you just DPS the boss, and then you go near the left or right ad. I went to the left ad. And you basically want to stand in the beam, and you'll get a stacking debuff. And when you reach 80, you move out of the beam. So you can see I'm standing in the beam, so I'm getting that buff. And then I move out of the beam once I reach 80. If you don't move out when it reaches 100, it'll turn you into this big monster. And if you don't go into the beam and you let it reach 100 on the ads, which it's about to do on the middle ad, you'll see the middle ad turn to a very large monster. So if that happens, just kill the ad generally. So once your debuff runs out, just make sure as soon as your debuff runs out, you go back into the beam, not beforehand. So you can see my debuff ran out, so I got back into the beam. Just keep DPSing the boss, and when it reaches 80, I'll get back out of the beam. And that's all you're doing is you just swap going in and out of the beam. Once your debuff runs out, you get out of the beam. Once it reaches 80, or once your debuff runs out, you get back in the beam. Once it reaches 80, you get out of the beam. And your DBM should scream at you. So for this boss, fairly simple. There's really not a lot you can do to avoid or look out for as a hunter. Essentially, the strategy is the tank just kites him through the center lava really fast, and that gives him a stacking debuff, which basically makes it so he takes increasing damage. And the more stacks of the fire stuff he gets, the more damage he'll be able to take. But of course, if the longer he's actually in the fire itself, the more AoE damage he's doing to the entire group. So you gotta run him through, and then when the debuff's about to fall off him, you run him through again, and so on and so forth. But that's the tank's job, not yours. So you can see he ran through, and while he was in, he did AoE damage to everyone. And he just has that stacking debuff on himself, which the tank should run him through again so that he builds up more stacks. And he didn't do it in time, so if he doesn't do it in time, then he goes back to taking like 90% reduced damage. But essentially your job as a hunter is basically just to stand there and DPS. There's not a whole lot more you can do. You can see you got 4 stacks of it this time. Normally you don't want the debuff to actually run off. You just want to keep kiting him through when the debuff's about to wear off. Which this tank's apparently terrible at. But hey, you learn. At least we're not dying, so that's the good part. Better safe than sorry, I suppose. So for this next boss, Beauty, is an optional boss, but basically what generally you want to do is you want to CC one of the ads, and then if you can, someone else wants to CC the other one, but if you can't CC the other one, then just kill the other one first, and then kill Beauty. Things to look out for is occasionally you'll get a lava pool under you. Um, Sometimes, so like if that happens, move out of the way. Occasionally you get feared. If that happens, not really much you can do. Just try and make sure you get positioned properly. Um, that's pretty much it. I mean, you'll get charged. Nothing you can really do about that. Just pretty much keep CC up on the one ad. You get feared, just kind of move away from the boss once you get done being feared. There is an ad in the far back, so you don't want to get too far back, because if you get feared into that ad in the far back, you'll have another ad to deal with as well. But unless you get feared all the way back there, you don't really have to worry about it pulling just the two ads in the front. So the boss just charges people occasionally, knocking them back. Does an AoE fear, which I actually almost get feared to run to you over here. I was like, oh, I'm getting a little too close. And then occasionally people spout fire, dealing damage to anyone near them, and lava on the ground. So kind of annoying fight, but not too terribly hard if you deal with the ads and everything. Now for this final boss, usually you'll be the one who does the kiting. Basically, there's 3 ads you can see, and the main boss. Your job is to get aggro on all 3 ads. You can put Serpent Sting up, whatever. Like, pretty much the last person to damage him is who has aggro. That's how these 3 ads work. And what they do is, if they get close to someone, they'll put a stacking debuff on them, which reduces healing taken. So obviously you don't want the tank to be unhealable, so you just want to kite these ads around like what I'm doing. Everyone should be single targeting the boss. No AoE should be going out. Now occasionally the boss will kind of transfer from being the boss into a mini ad, and one of the mini ads will become the boss. And when that happens, you just want to quickly swap over to the the previous boss, now the mini ad, and try and get aggro on it. It can be kind of tough because, like right here, the paladin was stupidly trying to attack it. I don't know why. And eventually, I was like, "Hey, stop attacking it. You're dumb." But essentially, as long as no one's trying to attack him, if for some weird reason someone does get aggro for whatever reason, generally you can just multi-shot or do whatever and you'll get aggro right back. But if they keep attacking it like that guy was, then you'll just keep losing aggro and it becomes really hard to kite. And you're just like, come on. Yeah, you can see right there, I was like, Pally, get on the boss, you idiot. I mean, basically you have to be trying to get aggro off these guys. And that's pretty much how you do this fight. You literally just target all 3 of the smaller ads and just keep putting dots on them, Serpent Sting or whatever. Occasionally multi-shot them if they're grouped up. Put Frost Trap down, just kite them around. Maybe every once in a while throw some DPS on the boss. But generally your job's just going to be to kite. So I hope this guide was helpful, and thanks for watching.